The Eagles return at the Classic West show last night in Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. I'm John Bowden from rockhistorymusic.com. If you were one of the lucky ones to be there, it was a moment in history because it was the first time since 2016 when we lost Glenn Frey that the Eagles got back together for a full show. Starting the program with a familiar starter, Seven Bridges Road, and as soon as that first note hit, you could tell it was the Eagles. Joe Walsh got behind the mic and says, "We're back because of family. We're back because you're all part of the Eagles family." One of the most poignant moments of the evening was from Deacon Frey. Of course, there were two new members on stage last night. Vince Gill, a controversial figure to some, but mostly everyone was happy to have Vince Gill in the Eagles. And Deacon Frey's mentioned, Glenn Frey's son, who said basically the crowd, the Eagles fans were his medicine. Deacon sang three very well-known Eagles songs made famous by his dad, Take It Easy, Peaceful Easy Feeling, and Already Gone. Interestingly, when he sang Peaceful Easy Feeling, in the middle of the song, there was a short, not quite break, but he said, "Does anyone else out there miss my dad?" And they panned to a picture of Glenn Frey, and of course, the crowd went nuts. Deacon Frey is only in his 20s. He looks like his dad, and he doesn't sound like his dad necessarily, but is in a similar pocket to his late father. And I always say, when it comes to the Eagles, it's nice to see Don Henley behind the kit. Eagles fans are not unfamiliar seeing him play drums on One of These Nights and Hotel California, which he did last night. He played percussion on some of the Joe Walsh songs, specifically Rocky Mountain Way. And it really looked like the band was having a good time. And bringing it back to Deacon for a second, I didn't mention this, but I think Deacon passed the test last night. He didn't look nervous. He was probably nervous as hell, but he didn't look it. And last night on stage, Stuart Smith, still with the Eagles. He's kind of the guy who kind of replaced Don Felder. And the whole Don Felder story is there's a lot of bad blood between Glenn Frey and Don Henley when he left, and there was lawsuits, and some people say there's too much damage there for Don Felder to come back, even though I think a lot of fans in the audience and away from there that couldn't make it were hoping that Don Felder would get on stage, but he didn't. But Stuart Smith was there. It was nice to see him up there shredding on One of These Nights and doing some other solos. Since Vince Gill joined the band, a lot of folks were saying, well, you don't really need Stuart anymore because he'll fill that gap. And so I was happy to see Stuart, but on the other hand, it makes you ask the question, why wasn't Vince Gill shredding last night? He was playing, I saw most of the concert, and he was playing acoustic guitar. He had his electric there too, but he wasn't being the Vince Gill on guitar that you expected. So that's kind of a thing that maybe after a few shows that will change. I certainly hope so. I mean, he's Vince Gill. He's one of the best picking lead guitarists in country music. Why wasn't Vince Gill doing what Vince Gill's supposed to do last night? Possibly because it was the first show. So he'll ease into that. Last night, Vince sang Lying Eyes, New Kid in Town, and Tequila Sunrise. And as expected, as we reported a few weeks ago, he sang Take It to the Limit, which was made famous from Randy Meisner. Another member that some folks were expecting to be on stage last night. Listen, Randy was asked 3-4 years ago to join the History of the Eagles tour when Bernie Leadon came back, and he wasn't in physical or mental shape to do it then. And even though I know we've gotten a long interview with Randy Meisner on our page, but I'm not close to Randy Meisner right now. And even though we hear he's healthier than he was then, I think the drinking is behind him, I hope. He's not in shape to do it. I did not expect Randy Meisner to be on stage last night with the Eagles. Bernie Leadon was on that last tour, as mentioned. I'm not sure why he wasn't asked back. That would have been nice too, but looking at a lot of the footage, I have to admit, that was a pretty packed stage. There was a lot of people on that stage. And yes, I'm a true Eagles fan. I would have loved Don Felder, Randy Meisner, and Bernie Leadon to have been on that stage, but it wasn't going to happen, and they did sound amazing. I mean, right off the bat, as mentioned on Seven Bridges Road, as soon as they started singing, I went, it's the Eagles, man. I'm ready for the comments below where a lot of folks will say, screw you, Bowden. You don't know what you're talking about. If you don't think they're the Eagles, then you don't think they're that band, and you're not going to go see them. There'll be shows. I mean, they still got to go out east to do the other show. There'll be more shows. Trust me, it's going to be a big tour. I will go see them. Make sure you comment on our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. We've got a lot of clips going back 3-4 years. We only started 3-4 years ago. I've been involved in classic rock and roll for my entire career. I've been in radio for 32 years, but we just started doing this channel a little while ago. I really enjoy doing it. There's a lot of other channels we work on, but this is the main one. So thank you so much for anyone who checks out our videos every single day. We try to put at least one out every single day. So thank you for that, but subscribe to our channel. I'm John Bowden from Rock History Music, still on vacation in beautiful Penticton, BC.